Good morning, Chicago and the rest of the world. Welcome to the Money, Sex, Gen X podcast. I am your host with the most, the man with the plan, the Scotty Pimpin' podcast Hempin'.
You know it.
Mr. Eric McLeod. I am never alone. I am joined by the G of Genius Lab, the dope cat curating dope people, music mogul in the making, the Rashid Wallace of podcast knowledge, my homie, my brother, and my co-host, Big Stu.
What's cracking-lating? E-money in the building.
Brother. Good to see you, man. I see you rocking the fly shades this morning. What's going on?
Yeah, well, you know, I decided to come in with a little extra dose of flyness, brother. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's what it is. That's the move for the morning. That's
Love
what
it.
we on. That's what we doing.
I hear you. All right. Well, MSG Nation, we are really happy that you joined us this morning. We have a great conversation set up for you. But first, if you like thought-provoking conversations like we have on Money, Sex, Gen X, I want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Really easy to find. Just type in Money, Sex, Gen X. We are currently streaming, Stu, in 48 countries and 406 cities globally. And you can find the streaming platforms for Apple Music, Spotify, any of your favorites, whichever one you like, we're on there. And again, I want to show some respect to some of the top cities that are streaming MSG. We talked about these a little bit last week. We got Frankfurt am Main in Germany, Wilmette, Illinois, Big Stu, Columbus, Ohio, Charlotte, North Carolina, East Brunswick, New Jersey, San Diego, California, Atlanta, GA, and Clichy de France.
Oh,
saying that right, man? I think I'm saying that right.
Clichy de France.
So thank you for tuning in globally. If you'd like to be a guest on Money, Sex, Gen X, just send us an email. You can email me, actually, emacloyd@moneysexgenxpodcast.com.
Absolutely, bro. You running through it this morning.
Yes,
you
sir.
on fire this morning, man.
I had a nice energy, nutritious shake this morning, so I'm ready. All right, so we are episode number 40 today, and we're talking about should you, and I'm including myself in this one, should you get a vasectomy?
Wow.
I definitely want to hear what you have to say about that.
Wow.
Should you get a vasectomy? And the reason why I wanted to do this episode is because, I've been considering getting a vasectomy. It's definitely a hot conversation around our home. And I just wanted to get a little more educated, Stu. Make sure I know what I'm really contemplating here.
Yeah, man, this is an interesting topic, man. I've had some conversation around this as well. I think this is a great conversation for men of our generation.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to dig into this as well, brother.
Okay. I do want to ask you, have you ever talked to any of your homies about this, this vasectomy conversation?
Not any of my homies. I've been in a couple of Facebook groups where that was a conversation, but I have not had this conversation with any of the guys.
Okay. Me either.
You haven't talked to any of the guys? Is this the first time you're talking to somebody that you know about this? Is this your first open conversation about a vasectomy?
I believe so. I think you'll be the first of my homies that I have that conversation with. So yeah, no doubt.
Wow.
Yeah.
We call this courageous conversation.
Very courageous. Very courageous.
Wow.
More than you know. So, all right. So before we dive in, let's get into our actual factual. So if you're new to the show, we try to do a little bit of research before we dive in, see what's going on, get some statistics and a little bit of deeper information. So I'll run through those really quickly. So one of the things that always comes up is, we always want to get to the definition. So a vasectomy is a form of male birth control that cuts off the supply of sperm to your semen. It's done by cutting and sealing the tubes that carry sperm. Vasectomies have a low risk of problems and can usually be performed in an outpatient setting under local anesthesia. All right, so that's the definition. Now, here's something that I really was worried about. I talked to a couple of family members that had a vasectomy, and this was my main question. Does a man who's had a vasectomy, are they still able to make semen? And the answer is yes.
Hmm.
It's just that the semen doesn't contain sperm.
Hmm.
The testosterone level and all other male sex traits stay the same. And for most men, the ability to have an erection is unchanged.
Hmm.
All right. Now, I don't like that for most men part, but I guess, 9 times out of 10 is good. All right. So how common are they? Say about 50 million people have had a vasectomy. About 5% of all married men that are in reproductive age, and more than 500,000 men elect to have vasectomies every year in the United States.
Wow.
It's a lot. It's a lot of people.
Wow.
Supposedly they're safe, Stu. They do have risks that we alluded to earlier. One of the bigger risks is infection. They're usually minor and treated with antibiotics. You might have a little bit of pain, a little bit of bleeding, bruising, and swelling, but it usually goes away pretty quickly from what I've read and also what I've been told from some family members that have gotten a vasectomy. All right. Okay. So the last two things I think are important is, so health insurance generally do cover a vasectomy. No, they say they may cover it. It's not considered an essential health benefit under the Affordable Care Act, so they may or may not. And I was worried about this too. The typical cost is about $1,000 if you do it out of pocket. But they're saying it may be a better bargain than other forms of birth control for you or your partner. I don't really know what they mean by that, but so it's about $1,000 to get a vasectomy. Okay. Wow. That's actual factual. Any of that information, is that new information to you, or did you
every last bit of it is new. All
new.
All new. The every single thing that you said to me was, again, this is one of those like taboo conversations. It's a conversation that I haven't had, that I don't want to talk about that, although I've had this conversation. So, some of you may know that I recently had twins at the age of 48.
No doubt.
Right? Which obviously, natural. This is natural. This is the natural way that babies are made, right? And so there have been some conversations about wearing condoms, or having more babies or not.
Okay.
I've had this conversation, but I've avoided moving forward, taking any action.
Okay.
Because of the unknown, the things that you just told me about, the questions I didn't want answers to.
I definitely can dig that. So you've had the conversation, but you've had the conversation in-house.
In-house, yes.
Got you.
Yeah.
We share this out.
So with and I've had this conversation. It's a courageous conversation. It's a courageous conversation. Indeed. El Sancho is saying one of my boys got one. But then he also goes on to say
12 kids.
Yeah, he got like 12 kids.
Yeah. Might have been a good idea.
Now, see, that's I think that's the other part of the conversation. We hear about these guys that got some babies, and I'd really, why get a vasectomy? Why get a vasectomy?
Yeah, well, first I want to, El Sancho, I'd like to hear if you could tell us, I guess your homeboy, did he have a good experience with like any side effects? Does he regret it now? I don't know if he shared that, but I'd love to know that.
Is it too many baby mamas? Is it one woman and you just keep having, she's extremely fertile and you just can't miss, and every time you like. Yeah. So is it the affordability? Is it the responsibility? Is it why? Is it? You see, I'm struggling.
Yeah. It's a delicate conversation. You know what I mean?
It's delicate, right? This is good. We got to talk about it here on Money, Sex, Gen X. This is the Money Sex Gen X podcast.
No doubt. What can I share responsibly about my own situation? All right, so we've had these conversations in house, definitely something that I've wanted to explore further, get a little bit of information on. And you said why? For me, it's just I want to make sure that I'm able to be the best parent that I can to all of my children. I don't know if I'm at capacity or not.
Well, and so okay, I'm gonna pick on you a little bit, E-Money.
Go ahead.
I think you know if you're at capacity or not, whether or not you want to admit it.
Maybe. There may be another perspective on whether I'm at capacity, but yeah, I may know that. So yeah,
and
trying to figure it out.
Let me be honest. For people who know me, like really know me, and I'm talking about people who know me, it's only a handful. They know I want more kids. They know I want more kids. There's no question about it.
Wow.
But society, the people around me, it's almost like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. You ain't, you can't afford these kids. Like, it's irresponsible. I actually in the Stooniverse, I don't see it there. I want more kids. I do. I really, at my core, would love, and I judge your mama. But I think that's I love youth. I love young people. There's part of my fear, if you will, and I want to have lots of kids. I want lots of kids, man. I imagine
now that brings a question up. Now to just share that, I want like, how much does affordability come into play for you? Like, I know you have a bigger vision, but does that come into play at all?
Of course, right? Of course it does. But not to sound all just wishy-washy, but provisions will always be made. And you can get into like at what level are those provisions being made, which is valid, to a degree. Yeah. But nevertheless, the provisions are always being made. Okay. And I think about where we've come from in this country, right? Like just slavery. And they had lots of kids back in the day. Mm-hmm. And a lot of those people went on to build great things. Sometimes having a little brings out a certain character about you, right? A work ethic, an instinctive drive about you when you don't have all the accoutrements of life that make you kind of keep working hard. And so, you get where I'm kind of going with this.
Yeah, no doubt. I definitely feel that. I mean, I think I'm on the other side of it, and I'll say this. I like this comment that El Sancho put in. He said, "I think sometimes men misconstrue the saying "be fruitful and multiply" with just having a lot of kids, but the fruitful part means produce enough to take." That's a beautiful comment. Produce enough to take care of those kids. Now, as me and Stu are talking here, everybody's definition of take care of those kids is a little bit different. And again, with me, that's what I'm questioning, right? Like, I think the provisions will come into play if we had 2 or 3 more children, but at what level continues to be my concern. Yeah. What level? How can I really key in on those children's development the way that I would want to? So, that's my personal thing, but I definitely understand your point of view also.
Yeah. And even with my point of view, I doubt that I'm going to have any more children.
Oh, okay.
I doubt it. I don't anticipate having any more.
Okay. No. All right. Well, I understand that. I do. Now, I've talked to people who, and I would like to get your thoughts on this, who they want to have more children because they feel like they're a better parent now, and they want another opportunity or an opportunity to see it, like to show that, right? Like I'm better now. And I think I'm a better parent. But some of these people are like, man, I didn't really do that great of a job on these other 4. Let me run this back at least one more time. You know what I mean? And see what's up. And it reminds me of a movie that Spike Lee had, but I don't think I'm remembering it right. But remember that movie? What's that movie Spike Lee had where the Denzel and Wesley Snipes were jazz musicians?
It's not one with the woman, Mo Better Blues.
Mo Better Blues.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. So remember, something happened with Denzel's child. I think the child died prematurely, or something happened. But he was in a really like a rush to have another child, and he did. And if I remember right, it went really well. It was like, I got to get this back, immediately. So that's what I always think of when I hear that. Does that resonate with you? Does that make sense that people think that?
Yes, it does make sense to me, and it does resonate with me. Because I made some egregious mistakes with my first 3 children who were by my ex-wife. And then my lady and I have twins, right? I definitely feel like I wanted a chance to do better.
Okay.
Which, oh my God, this soundbite. I hear this soundbite in my future. This is almost a terrible soundbite, right? Because it discredits the goodness that I've done with my first 3 children. And that's not what I mean. I don't want to take anything away from that. But I feel like I could have been more hands-on, more involved, more deliberate, more mature, more available. I could go on, right? And so there was some excitement about, having more children gives me the opportunity to prove that. And I want to say to myself, but the reality is to prove that to my circle, right? If I'm being honest, you know what I'm saying?
That's real. I respect you for even sharing that.
That's heavy, bro.
It is.
You're pulling it out, man.
No doubt. I don't know if I ever got that deep within myself, but who wouldn't want another opportunity to do better? You know what I mean? So I definitely can relate to that. Now, I do want to ask you too, and if you're watching, if you're tuning in, let us know your thoughts. Like, do you all hear this conversation in the media anywhere?
Right.
Like, is this a conversation or is this something we're doing today? Like, I don't think I've heard it.
Yeah.
I don't see that topic come up. Is that a thing? Have you seen it?
No.
Okay.
No.
I wonder why.
Yeah. It's almost like, we know lots of people are sexually active, but we don't hear conversations about being sexually active responsibly. Right? We only hear about the sexualization of sex, not the responsibility and accountability of it.
True indeed.
Especially in the Black community. We're not having the courageous, important conversations about money, about sex, about politics, about being a community. So this is one of those conversations that just they're heavy, they're intellectual, they're responsible, they're mature, and no, we don't hear. I've never heard this conversation in a very mature way at all.
Because I know millennials are having some really in-depth conversations that probably I wasn't thinking about at their age. So I just didn't know if I was missing those conversations or what. But okay. I know you're a media person, a media guy, so you're saying it's not really out there. I definitely trust that. So.
Hey, let me say this, El Sancho. That's my cousin, by the way. Share this out, man. Make sure anybody else who's watching share this, please. That's the best way you can show that you really rocking with us is to share this out. Share it. Hit the like or subscribe button, please, please, please. You know what it means to get these views and followers up. So help us, y'all. Help us. Share these conversations if you think they dope. All right,
no doubt. Couldn't agree more. All right. So I had this question in here about, is there a cultural component to this? We kind of just talked about that a little bit, but it seems like I would have liked to have gotten a little bit more data on this, but I'll like say if a person was Latino or Asian, I'd like to know like what the general thought process is with those cultures about getting a vasectomy. I know everybody's different, but just generally, is it something that's frowned upon? When I think about some of the conversations that Ye is having and Herschel Walker about pro-life, would they also view this as like something that's not right and exact to do based on the pro-life stance? You know, I just like to know some of those things.
And I thought I was getting deep. You just really went a level deeper with that.
Well, yeah, I'm just curious, man. I would like to know that. You know, so if I was talking to Ye and I said, "Hey, I'm thinking about getting a vasectomy," would that upset him? You know what I mean? Based on his pro-life stance, I just wonder.
So,
too.
Yeah, I'm asking this question. So we know this summer, there was a ban on abortion bill that was passed. Right? I don't want to mess up the political speak, but in this country, federally, my understanding, and please correct me if I understand it correctly, that abortions are banned at the federal level in this country. Is that correct?
I'm not sure.
Man, I gotta get this. Somebody help me with these facts. This is where our production team comes in to research this. And so I'll keep going. I'll take the foot in my mouth. I've done it before. But my understanding is that abortions were kind of like banned in this country. Okay.
Well, I do know this part. From what I understand, I believe they were banned in certain states.
Okay.
Because I remember people saying that Illinois was a state that you could come to if you still wanted to do that.
And this happened at the okay.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it happened at the federal. I don't know, some kind of way.
All right. So in some parts of this country, at the very least, we know that abortions have been banned. And so what I later found out was that it really part of that was about a population control. Right. There are projections made about, man, if we keep up with birth rates at this rate, 100 years from now, this country won't have enough people. We have to do something to get more people populated. Right. And so there, of course, the other layers. Look, I'm not even acting like I'm the political figurehead that knows the depths and details of this conversation. I'm giving very broad strokes, and you all can color in the lines along the way. But to your point, if in fact this pro-life conversation is really about ensuring that this country is sustainable, right? You got to have babies. And as Black folk, I think it's super important to realize that if we want to keep this thing going, we got to have some babies. We can't stop having babies. And so I've even heard through other folks talking that homosexuality goes against continuing to produce more people because you're not producing more people as a couple, as families and things of that nature. So the pro-life conversation, are vasectomies pro-life or not pro-life? That's a great question.
No doubt. Your cousin said that they are banned, that you're correct. They are banned on the federal level, but it's up to the discretion of the states.
Look at Cuzzo. He's so smart.
He came through. Yes, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, we needed that.
We might need you on the production team. You might have to be our research guy. Let us know. Yeah. Thank you for letting us know. They're clearing that up.
Yeah. So, I'm going to probably try to dig into that a little bit deeper now as I'm watching some of these guys talk about this pro-life conversation. Now, I did want to ask you this, and this kind of flashed through my head. I was like, at the end of the day, deep down, would I feel like less of a man if I could no longer have children?
So it's funny because this conversation made me think about my younger years. I heard your question. Would getting a vasectomy make you feel like less of a man? I do remember having part of this conversation in my 20s. And it was a very immature conversation.
Gotcha.
About a vasectomy. And at that point, it was a resounding hell no. Vasectomy.
Because of that reason. tied to man.
There was some mythological talk about at that time. Look, I'm telling you, this is very immature conversation. Mm-hmm. That when you get a vasectomy, you get more estrogen and less testosterone, and you lose your manliness.
No doubt. Okay. Yeah.
That's the 20-something-year-old me, man. That's the 19-20-year-old me, bro.
No doubt.
And so,
okay.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's. I didn't hear that in the research, the actual factual.
Well, they said it does not affect testosterone levels, but I'm just saying mentally, how would I feel if I'm, because we take pride in the fact that, hey, I could have another child today probably if I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's part of our manhood. So if I'm walking around the earth now and I'm like, I can't have any more children, how would that? And maybe it won't affect my psychology at all, but I'm just wondering.
All right, man. I know. I got church folk that be watching. I know I have some school leaders that watch, and I want to say right now that this is my personal choice to have these conversations in this platform, and they are indeed no reflection on my parents, my professional work, or my church community.
No doubt.
This is me leaving. I know I am in sound mind and body, and I'm choosing to be transparent with y'all.
We appreciate that too.
So the vasectomy piece, and my core just rawness of a man was because there's this during sex and the ejaculation. You don't want to pull out. You don't want to pull out.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but you don't want the responsibility of having these kids by not pulling. So it was always about just, if I could just have sex and not worry about pulling out. We ain't even talking about the wearing of a condom.
Right.
Like, we weren't at that age. It was like, we talk about Russian roulette, rolling of the dice.
Often.
All of that, right?
Yeah.
And so when you're in the fullness of sex, it's that idea of not pulling out.
No doubt.
I probably could have said that better, differently.
Yeah. Well, so, I think we understand. We get it. We get it. And so I think it needs to be said. I mean, it's a real conversation that you had in your 20s.
Yeah, you wanted the benefit of not being able to pull out without the responsibility of kids.
No doubt.
So part of it was no, but there was a part of like, man, that's kind of a dream. I'd love to be able to do that and not to go around and do what you want with whoever you want and not have to worry about kids.
No question. Yeah. Wow. And I'm sure there's young people out there thinking that now, or older people, Hey, if you just tuned in, you're rocking with the Money, Sex, Gen X podcast. This is episode number 40. You're rocking with Big Stu, Mr. Eric McLeod. We're getting into this vasectomy conversation. If you are a little startled by what we're talking about, just always know we're trying to have a conversation that we feel like will help. There are some people out there that are concerned about whether they should get a vasectomy or not. We're trying to give some real dialogue about how we felt, how we feel currently, and how we might feel in the future, in hopes that somebody can look at this conversation and it may benefit them in some way. We've established that this conversation is not being had, but we know it's something that impacts many families and many men who are considering one way or the other. So, we'd love to get your feedback if you're out there too. Yes, Stu. No, I'm glad. I appreciate you sharing that. I don't think I was mature enough in my 20s to even conceive a dialogue in my head about a vasectomy. I don't think I knew what it was. So I'm sure you were way more advanced than I was.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
I didn't know what a vasectomy was, so I couldn't conceive that.
I was probably far more immature and illiterate around this conversation. If I'm barely having a conversation today, imagine me.
You and me both. The actual factuals are like brand new to me, and I'm almost 50 years old. So
why is that? You asked this already. We've been here like, but what is happening in our Sancho? What's happening? Cuzzo, what's happening in our minds as men that this conversation is? Well, he said his guys they having it because his kids, his homies, they got all these baby mamas. He said that.
Yeah.
So they're happening in his conversation.
And I mean, for me, I have several family members, like close family members, that have had it done. It's just we're not having an ongoing conversation about it. I just ask them a little question here and there, but it's still sort of uncomfortable, I feel, even when we're having it. You know, they tell me whatever, but it's like, all right, let me get that one question off and keep it moving.
Is it because the genitalia is such a sensitive area and topic and private? It's our private parts.
I think it's because people don't want to be judged. You know, I think there's still a stigma that if you get a vasectomy, somehow your manhood is impacted or you've done something taboo.
And I wonder what a woman thinks about.
I'd love to know that.
This, like, if she meets a guy on the dating scene at this stage, and he's like, "Is that a
deal breaker,
or is that a deal maker?" Right?
Right. Could go either way.
Right?
No doubt. Yeah, ladies, let us know how you feel whenever you catch this broadcast. What are your thoughts about a vasectomy? You know, is it a deal breaker or a deal maker? How do you feel? Do you have any feelings about it at all? Love to know.
So you were saying that you're not sure if you're at capacity.
I'm not sure if I'm at capacity, right?
What's driving that question answer for you?
You know, a lot of it is, you know, I'm at an age where I feel like I'm really walking in my purpose. And I'm getting to some things that I haven't really had a chance to get to. I'm focusing on myself a little bit more. I'm being a little bit more selfish. And in a good way, in a way that helps the entire family. But, you know, I just don't know if another child may kind of, you know, put me on a path that take me off of a path that I feel like I'm enjoying right now.
Or would it push you even greater?
I think I'm done with the push you even greater stuff. I did that in my 30s. Like, yeah, the kids are pushing me to be, and they did. The first two, they were, oh yeah. No, I'm done with that. I don't need that to be pushed to greatness at this point. I don't need it.
So you know,
that can't be the reason.
You know, somebody that you put me on real heavy is also in this conversation. So a celebrity.
Oh, okay.
Dame Dash. You put me on Dame Dash. Okay. You was like, man, you got to check for Dame. He really, I watch and I was like, and I can't. Remember that?
Yeah.
I was like, man, I can't take him. I can't. But then, you know, I started paying attention to him, and he is over 50.
Yeah.
And has a 3-year-old.
Yep.
Right. And so I'm interested to know about, and I bring him up because when I think about successful Black men, you and him come up in the same conversation in my mind.
Okay.
You know,
I appreciate that.
And I see that he travels with Baby Dusko. Him and they got a team.
Yeah.
You know,
no doubt.
He's got a business. Little Baby Dusko got a business. You see, Dame is, you know, showing his children through action, taking them on the road.
Definitely.
And but you're like, how do you see being a dad today? Because your little guy is
16 months.
Now almost 2, right?
Yeah. It's joyful. It really is. I mean, it's joyful. Every time I see the little guy just light up, I enjoy taking him to school or picking him up from school. Just seeing him have fun running around the house. I do enjoy that. I really do.
Okay.
My other 2 children. So I have a 14-year-old and a 19-year-old. I feel like I was in grind mode with them. I definitely enjoyed it, but it was more financial pressures. When I feel like when the finances are less of a pressure, you can enjoy the child even more because you're not necessarily worried about money. Like now, that's when that thing came in about they're gonna push me to greatness. Like I was really on that. I'm like, yo, these kids, I need that motivation to get to the next level. So I think that's where it's changed. I think I'm a little bit more focused on myself and a little bit more relaxed and able to be in the moment when I am with my younger child and my other two children.
Okay.
Yeah. We can do stuff like binge watch a Netflix show together or, go for a walk in the park for 5 hours or something. I can do more of that now where when I was a younger parent, we would do it, but not for 5 hours. So that's where I'm different. What about you? Are you different or are you the same as you were in your 20s as a parent?
Definitely not the same as I was in my 20s. To be honest, I think this gives me granddad feelings, granddad vibes. Like because these could easily be my grandchildren.
Okay.
Right. These could easily be my grandchildren because I got friends that are having grandchildren. My children and their grandchildren the same age. And so this gives me great insight to a lot of things, right? Just like who am I as a granddad, right? Like, will I even get to see that?
Yeah. I'm sure you will.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm enjoying the moment. Again, I have what I call the luxury of having twins, which I think was like the best deal for me. There's two of them that can entertain themselves. I do get to enjoy my children more, but I ain't running around as much chasing behind them.
Okay.
I let them run around me. They got each other to run around. Open that backyard up, let them run around. I'm enjoying that. So I'm super excited about these my youngest two right now.
They're 2 years. They're two.
They're three. They're 3.
Oh, they're 3 years old. Okay.
So they're becoming far more independent now. I got a boy and a girl. So my son, he's starting to go on a little longer journeys with me throughout the day. I can take him, a little bit longer here, before he gets too sleepy or whiny or need to eat or need to be changed. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I'm having some fun with it right now.
That's good to hear. And you saying, I don't know, for some reason, as you were saying that, it made me think about Trent and little Eric, who are both around the same age. And I was thinking, are they ready to have this conversation about this? Like if I said to little Eric, hey, I'm thinking about getting a vasectomy, I wonder, does he know what it is, number one, but what would his thoughts be? What would little Trent think about that? Or would they just be kind of like, whatever, I don't know.
I think it's I would vote to say that as a father, it's our responsibility to have these courageous conversations with our sons. At this age. Both of our sons, my son is 14, little E is
14, yeah.
Yep. I think if we haven't already, have you had a conversation with little E about sex?
Not a long one. We're about due.
Yeah.
Talk to them about girls and, dating and approaching them and all of that. Yeah. But not full blown.
No. Now, so I'm in the schools and have been in the schools for 21 years. So I know what kids are doing in school buildings.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had this conversation with my son about sex in 6th grade.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. And it was a couple of conversations. And I saw he was getting squirmy. And so I pulled back a lot. I didn't go all renegade, but I had some very mature conversations with him about what it is, the truth about where babies come from, how it's made, what name parts of the body, the whole nine, and my version of what responsibility is and the expectation is of him as a young man.
Okay, that's
And
beautiful.
so we've had some conversations, so it won't be like jumping all the way in cold water when I bring this up to him.
Yeah, when my conversations with little Eric, we've had the kind of technical sex conversation, but we haven't had like, hey, here's dad's perspectives and strategies when you get to that point and all of that. That's really what I want to kind of get to. And I do know that at his school they had a sex education class, so that kind of opened up an opportunity to have a dialogue. But there's so much more that I want to share with him. And like I said, it's about that time to kind of get a little bit deeper into those conversations. So, yeah. And I'm going to talk to him directly about vasectomy too. I really want to see what his thoughts are once I'm clear that he knows what it is. So that'll be interesting to see.
Sidebar, brother. Sidebar. Everybody pay attention to this real quick. This is a sidebar, man. Shout out to E Money on the fashion wardrobe pick of the week, dog.
Oh man, thank you.
I'm playing with him, man.
I appreciate you highlighting this.
I'm playing with him, man. What is you doing, man?
Dude, this is a gift from one of my in-laws straight from the Congo. Straight from the Congo. It was tailor-made just for me. I love it. Oh man, it's beautiful.
I was low-key hating in the beginning. I was like, this dude is cold. I've been on it. I
was like, he ain't gonna say nothing.
No, I've been on it. I had to get over the. I dissed you. I dissed you out of love. Like, man, this dude is cold. This dude is cold, dog.
Man,
I can't keep up, man. Look at you, dog.
They laced me. And she made my wife a matching top. So we're gonna do a little photo shoot. Yeah, I really appreciated that. So
if you've been following us on Money Sex Gen X since the beginning, you know how E Money roll.
Oh, it ain't just me. It ain't just
no. It's just him, hands down. It's all E Money. I can't. Nope, don't do that. Nope. Hey, this dude be cold.
Stu got a lot of flavor. I seen him on camera and in person. He's being humble.
I do have swag. I do have style. But that don't look. You got good players, and then you got the Hall of Famers. E Money. Hey, I ain't gonna hold you, but yes, sir, you cold, dog. They laced you.
Cut it out. Hey, I appreciate it though, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, man. I really like this piece. First time I've had a piece like this. So I'm
look ready today, man. You ready? Today. This is gonna be a great week. This is a great week this week.
I might have to shoot a couple more videos today then, since I got.
Yeah, man. Go ahead and knock that out. You in your bag today, bro. You in your bag today. Don't let nobody tell you. Just know that if they don't give it up to you, they did what they hate it. They hate it. Just know that. Just know that's how cold you are today. It's you. It's you, dog.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. No. He said, look, Sancho.
Appreciate it, cuz thank you, sir. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's fun. I like coming on here with you and getting dressed up a little bit. That was cool for us during COVID when we couldn't really go out. We got a chance to come on here and do our thing. It's just a nice way to start the week. So it's cool.
No doubt. Good. You set the tone. That's dope.
So, let's wrap up this vasectomy conversation. I had a burning question, and I think it's directed at myself. Will Mr. Eric McLeod be getting a vasectomy? Now, keep in mind, this is ongoing conversation with my wife. So I'm not going to give a definitive answer, but I will be honest and say it is definitely a burning question in my mind. Capacity is an issue, like I said. What is my manhood? I'm a strong man and all of that, but I do wonder, is there going to be something going on psychologically? I do wonder about that. And the finality of it all, Stu. I know you can reverse it and all of that, but that's a whole nother procedure and it might not work and all of that. But the finality of it, is that too much for me to overcome? To say yes? I don't know.
Who wants is that maybe you can not decide not to answer. Who's rooting for the vasectomy? Who's like not rooting for the vasectomy?
Well, my wife is totally against it.
Totally against it.
No, I don't think she would mind me sharing that. Like, she would she's against it. She would like another little one for our 16 month old. And so I guess I could say I'm rooting for it a little bit, but we're the only two I've really talked to about it. So it's me and my wife. You know?
Hey, look, I'm gonna say this because I'm absolutely pro-life, right? Before I get into my part, El Sancho says, do you feel like that will emasculate you?
Oh, man, that's a great question. I don't feel like it will emasculate me, but I wonder how will it affect me? You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I mean, it might. I do kind of feel like that. Yeah.
I'm gonna
what's the real definition of emasculate, Meg? They basically make you feel less masculine, right?
El Sancho, we need the definition on the production team, man. Give us a Webster's definition, please, brother, of emasculate, please.
Well, yeah, now, from the definition that I think, he said he's against it, by the way. Okay.
He's against it, by the way.
Why? Could you please share with us why? I'd love to know that.
And I'm going to say this, while he's getting that together, I think he's getting a couple of things for us together. I think, in a very selfish way, gut reaction, Lil E deserves a sibling in his age.
That's
not Lil E, not Lil E, Lil C. Lil C.
Baby.
Lil C deserves, and I'm rooting for Lil C to get somebody his own age.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for him for that.
Well, you're joining a few other people that, even though they don't know about the vasectomy conversation, they definitely want the baby to have another playmate.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. It makes sense. That's why, again, that's part of why my blessing was, because my children, 14, 18, 21, if it had just been one child, I'd been in, that's tough. So it's two of them. All right. And
okay, you got it. So to deprive a man of his role. Oh, thank you, brother. Yeah. So the answer is yes. I do wonder about that. Yes, I do, because part of my identity has been so encompassed by being able to, it's a power to saying I can have another child, whenever. You know what I mean? Like that's a power. So if that's taken away, that changes my role, changes my identity a little bit. Which is funny, because if you already have several children, I don't know why we would look at it like that, but it's just the fact that my role would change.
Is there an age where it's like, okay, guy, you too old to be having kids? I got a cousin. I got a cousin who's in his 60s. Got a 2-year-old.
What? Wow. I just caught that. God. Wow. Hey, yo, I caught on to what you said. I'm like, yo, man. Hey, and I'm not saying that in a kind of judgmental way, but wow, that's.
Yeah, man. I think Cuzzo is like 61. At the youngest, I give him 59, but he's more like 61, 62.
How's he enjoying the experience? Sure, it's not his first child either.
Oh man, he's probably he's racking up double digits. He's double digits. He's close to. If he ain't double digits, he like at 9. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay, right.
I can't keep up. He's definitely right up in there.
Okay. He probably ain't worried about it.
No. He ain't worried about money. He ain't worried about nothing. And these ladies is young, man. Yeah.
That's the other thing. I always ask myself, if I knew money was no issue at all, would that change my views on having multiple children even from now?
And are there situations where having multiple children extends your wealth and extends your earning capacity? I think there are.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, so you say how? I'd like to know a little more about that. Like, what do you mean?
Like, if you're in if you're part of royalty,
Okay.
the more boys you have, the longer your family controls the land or whatever it may. It's because it's passed down. It's
I'm glad you brought that up.
you know.
Now that creates that adds a whole nother flavor on this conversation, because if you're a man and you have several girls, for example, which is really dope to have girls, of course, but then you're like, man, I still want a little boy though. You know what I mean? So under that scenario, I feel like if I didn't have boys, I probably wouldn't be even considering a vasectomy until I had a boy.
And so yeah.
But I have
so,
two, so I mean,
I'm
you know. But that's something that would come into place, too. I mean, I don't have a boy yet. Because I remember a family member telling me this when I had my first child, which she was a girl. He said, every man wants a little boy. Because he was trying to make it like I was pretending like I was happy she was a little girl, but I actually was. He was like, every man wants a little boy. And I always remembered that. And I kind of get it now. I wasn't thinking that then, but I get where he was coming from. Yeah, of course you want somebody to carry on your name. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I mean, I would want that. I would have wanted that. But it didn't change me being happy at that time. But yeah, when you get older, you're like, man, who's going to carry on the family name? So
it's masculine, and I pray I don't get caught up in this being this toxic masculinity conversation. But it definitely has a lot to do with exactly that. You need to keep this family name going and strong, and it's up to the men to do that. So you need some boys. You need lots of boys because you got to keep the name going.
Okay.
And so if you got 3 boys, that's great. But if your family, if you got 5 boys,
10,
you got 10 boys.
Strong. They're strong.
That's a strong family, man.
Yeah, I agree.
But if you got 7 kids and 2 boys,
yeah,
no disrespect, but as a man, we're about extending our lineage.
Yeah. And if you're out there, we're not discounting the power of having girls. Because Stu and I both have girls and we love them, but we're talking about continuing the family name. Because when the girl is married, she's going to take the name of her spouse.
Right. And I'm talking about just at the core, without emasculating me, at the core of masculinity, the nature of masculinity is for men to be dominant and to continue that dominance.
Right.
And that's what the ladies want. Ladies want that. A man who is strong and is strong. And so you come from a family of 12 brothers, you know what I mean?
Like, get much stronger than that. Great point, man, and a great conversation. So we hope we've done this vasectomy conversation some justice. I'll run through a couple of quick things that we talked about. So we defined what it is. It's just a way to cut the supply of sperm to your semen, right? It's done by cutting and sealing the tubes that carry the sperm. It's supposed to be a low risk of problems. The vasectomies are supposed to be very safe. People don't generally have any problems. There's a lot of people, we talked about, Stu, that 50 million men have had vasectomies and 500,000 have them per year. So even though we don't hear a lot of these conversations publicly, it's definitely something that's happening. And the cost is about $1,000. Sometimes it's covered by insurance, sometimes it's not. That's the deal. To get a vasectomy or not. So, hey, if you're a man out there thinking about it, we hope this is giving you a little bit of food to also consider for your mental about whether to do it or not. And maybe looking at it from different perspectives. So Stu definitely gave me some different ways to kind of think about this conversation.
And I think I just mangled myself because, as I was leaning towards the idea of getting a vasectomy. I said I would do it, and now I'm leaning more. I know because and my ego is talking right now. My ego wants some more boys. Shout out to my boys. Trent set the standard. My dad set the standard. We strong men.
No doubt.
Men in my family are strong, man. Trent is strong. Daniel is strong.
No doubt.
Sancho is strong, man.
No question.
We strong, dog. We need some more. We strong, dog. We strong.
So you say you can't do it. Can't do it.
Dang.
Wow.
Nah, man, I would love to, but maybe I've done my part. And you, that's what I'm saying. I to get a vasectomy, guys, if you can be responsible, no, Stu is against vasectomy. Although I might get one, I'm saying that there's a contradiction of a man. Although I might get one, I'm against the vasectomy. Right. E-Money, where do you land on this conversation? Do you have a landing point?
You know, I don't know if I can overcome the role shift of getting one. That's probably my main takeaway from this conversation. You know, how would that affect my identity? You know what I'm saying? And you don't really know that until you do it. You would have to do it to know, and I don't know if I want to take that risk. I don't know. Maybe I'm leaning more towards not doing it now than I was before the episode. That's the thing.
You a strong dude too. Sancho, you about 6'3", 6'2". I know E-Money, you about 6'4", 6'5".
No doubt.
I'm like 6'5", 6'6".
No question.
3 strong men, black men that's doing well for themselves. We gotta extend it, bro. That's my pure masculine self, yo.
I like it.
We gotta extend ourselves. They need us. Hey, the world needs us, man.
True indeed.
Look,
wow, Sancho
6'3".
Okay.
Come on, man.
It's a big deal. So hey, that's the great thing about these episodes. You know, we're doing them for the culture, but it's helping us too. Because I have a little bit different perspective now, Stu.
Yeah.
A little bit different. So okay.
Great conversation. Got a lot to think about.
No doubt. All right, so we got a couple more segments to run through. We hope you all enjoyed the vasectomy conversation. So we're going to get into our characters from corporate segment. If you're new to the show, this is where we have people that are in corporate. They have corporate jobs, write to us about something that they're dealing with. They always ask us the question, are they a character? Meaning, are they tripping? Or are they just their mindset not in the right place or whatever? And we try to give them some perspective as two seasoned ex-corporate people. All right, so... well, I shouldn't say X. We still do business with corporations, but we're not employees in corporate. All right. So this one is, hi, I'm a female Gen Xer from Portland, Oregon. Portland. I've never been to Portland.
I just went to Portland this year for the first time in my life. Shout out to the PDX. Shout out to the PDX.
All right. My wife has a good friend that just moved out there. I got to get out there. All right. She says, open enrollment at my law firm where I work as an attorney. I still can't understand the different options available for open enrollment. We talked about this a little bit. I know this is a hot topic because it's open enrollment. All right, cool. She said, look, I usually just choose what my work friend tells me to get as far as the open enrollment options for insurance and all the other features. But I do feel embarrassed asking questions when they bring people in. I've been at this firm for 7 years. Am I a character for still not understanding what features to select for open enrollment? Am I a character?
No.
Why not?
No. We're like barely second generation of freedom in this country. No, we don't know this stuff. These have not been our conversations at this level. We don't know. We're still learning. So no, that's why to me, it's just that simple. It's like, we're not paying attention to this stuff. We just got free, y'all. So
okay.
No.
I feel that. I'm going to say you're a character if you're not asking questions because you're an attorney and you don't want to look bad in front of your subordinate.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Because I've seen that.
Oh.
I used to work in law firms, and if that's the reason, then I would say you are a character. You know, there might be a paralegal or a law clerk or some, you know, a secretary that's more up on this stuff than you are, and you don't want to show your hand that as the attorney, you don't really know it. So if that's the reason, yes, you are a character. And I rarely say that somebody's a character in these segments, but if that's the reason, Portland, I'm tripping. Because you don't want to be 10 years out and you still don't know this stuff. You're going to have to bite the bullet in one of these meetings or hire somebody or whatever to get this information down so you can move past this and move on with your life. And more importantly, get what you need for your family.
So you're saying
for your family, you don't get what your friend told you to get. She might have a different health insurance need than you. Dangerous.
It's not even that. Like those, but you're saying that potentially the only reason she's not asking the question is because she's has this title, this role, and doesn't want to seem to be not knowledgeable about something because of her title.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
I've seen that many times.
If it's that, then clearly
I've done it. I'm not talking about I've seen it. I've done that. I've done that in corporate. I didn't want to raise my hand because I'm perceived as somebody who should know it already.
Well, you know that ain't. See, that's something. See, if I don't know, brother, guess what I'm gonna do? Ask. I'm going to ask. What? Y'all can act like y'all don't know this stuff. Like y'all.
And you don't have to ask in that meeting. You can find somebody outside of the firm, but just make sure you get the information.
Yeah.
This stuff is too critical, man. A lot of these products help reduce your taxable income, and can you get a root canal this year? Pre-tax, and do we have the right insurance for our family? Do you need a PPO or HMO? Like these things are critical. I don't care what title you got. Critical. And I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm telling you what I did that I don't want you to do. Go ahead and learn it. If you're an attorney, you can certainly learn this stuff in probably in a weekend.
Damn. Wow.
And guess what? I'm going to take it a step further, Stu. If you really want to learn it, hit me up. Hey, I'll offer you that. Hit me up. I'll explain.
Dope.
All right?
Dope.
All right, man. So you say she's not. I'm saying she might be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying she's not because, just because simply if you don't know, you don't know.
Gotcha.
But he brings up a very valid point. If you don't know because you're afraid to ask because of your title, then he has a very, very solid point.
Yeah. And I could be wrong. That might not be the reason. So, okay. Cool. All right, Big Stu. So we got so hey, if you tune into the show regularly, you know that Big Stu is the co-founder of a music streaming platform.
Yeah.
We get the valuable, we get to experience. Yeah, that's the right word. A valuable experience of getting to hear people that are on that platform. They'll share an artist every week. And this week, who's our artist, Stu?
Miko is our artist this week.
Okay, cool.
Out of Chicago. I like his music. I'm a fan.
Okay. Now let me ask you real quick: who is your platform for?
Yeah, and that's evolving all the time. But what we've been doing, this platform is for new and emerging artists.
New and emerging,
right? New and emerging. Like you don't have 100,000 views regularly. You don't have 1,000 people following you on your platform, right? You nobody knows you, but you got 3, 4, 5 albums, but nobody knows you. This is the platform you want to put your music on, because the listeners who are tapping in are industry experts. They're industry folks who are looking for the next big thing. Okay. First and foremost.
Right.
And then the second reason is that The people who are also contributing content to the platform now become your in-house community supporters. So they're producers, they're rappers, singers, songwriters, right? Who are adding content. And what we do at Pool is we support each other. So you almost got this immediate fan base, a community. Anytime you drop something, we share it, we push it out, we go to each other's shows, so that's who it's for. If you're new to the game, you don't really, your stuff is not mastered, you want to get feedback, but you want the industry insiders to hear it. Hey man, we got Grammy Award winning folks, Grammy nominated folks that are listening, tapping in, asking about artists, asking can they put songs in certain mini series on WeTV or Netflix or Tubi. You know what I mean? Like, hey man, it's popping. It's popping over there. It's popping over there. Dive in, y'all. It's popping in the pool. Poolofmusic.com.
All right. You heard it. Heard it from the man himself.
So let's check out Miko.
Okay.
He's got 3 songs on here. And he's also, Miko actually is an actor, and you may have seen him in stuff like what's that, 63rd Street? It's a series that comes on like Hulu. You may see him in stuff like The Shy. You know what I mean? And other movies, like you may see him in stuff like Chicago Med. Those types of series. And he's an artist as well. He's an actor and artist. We're gonna check out this song, Brother, produced by SC, another Chicago producer. Hey, just let us know if you like this song or not. Let's check it out right now. Let me make sure I got this. Let me make sure I did this right. The audio, because I want you all to hear it. So here we go. Am I sharing sound? Yes, I am. All right.
On my own, so I hold the chrome. Roam with it is on where I'm known, but anonymous reported from a phone. Subversion agent, rap vagrant. I'm past patient, writings on the wall. For the victim, I feel nothing at all. Instead of making, I'm diligently past Satan. You had your chance, last for the taking. Needed points in the paint, but you was pump faking. Last back to the bases, where your soul was the prize for the patriot. With only personalities, mass face. And mass faces put personalities place, really in most cases. The gig's up, just give up. Cause you already lost when you couldn't take a stand for standing up. We still with it while losers is just pretending. Wanna be you, but we knew from the beginning. It's for the fans, yeah. Final acknowledgements, past tense or irrelevant talk, no apology. That's my brother. Yeah. That's my brother. That's my brother. That's my brother.
What you think about that, E-Money?
I love that. I loved it. You know who he remind me of is MF Doom.
Ooh, what a compliment.
Artist. Yeah, he's dope. This brother is dope. You said the name Miko is the correct?
Miko. Check him out on Pool, man. Go over to poolofmusic.com.
Gotta hear more tracks. I like that. I really do.
He's got 3 tracks up right now, and to me,
the production was great.
SC is a well-known producer on the hip-hop scene here in Chicago, underground. When I say well-known is to the hip-hop heads, right? To the heads that know. I'm not talking about GCI Big Jam, no. But SC is official. Yeah, he does stuff like that. So if you're on the hip-hop scene, you've been around for a while for Chicago, you may have heard of SC.
I've never not liked an artist you played, and I typically really dig everybody you play, but this brother definitely goes to the top 3.
Wow.
So he probably is at the top right now. So that says a lot, because you've played some really dope artists week after week. So yeah, salute to Miko for that. Keep doing your thing, brother.
Thank you, brother. Hey, look, real quick before we get out of here, it's the holiday shopping season. And I just want to remind people that we've got merch that they can buy. Here we go.
Yeah, I was just saying I need to re-up on my MSG merch. Okay.
Get your merch. Go over here. Yep.
That's the one I want right there. The ease into eating better. The champion jump. Want that?
It's so funny, man. My lady jumped up the other day, and she popped on one of these. She got the long sleeve joint. It freaked me out. It's like, what?
Wow.
What's it? And I remembered that she copped one. I remember she copped one.
She had it. Okay.
I said, okay.
I didn't know we had a long sleeve of that one. The ease into eating better.
I think so. It's the baseball tee.
Oh, okay.
It's the baseball one. I thought we. Is it this one? No, she's got the long sleeve joint.
Oh, I like that blue one too. Okay.
That one?
Yeah, that's okay. I could do something with that.
And look, they not expensive, man. They that was only $18.
Okay.
Here it is. This is the one. This is the one she bought. This is the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's the baseball tee. Yeah.
Nice. It also makes some great stocking stuffers for sure.
Yeah, y'all go grab y'all something.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah. The long sleeve. That's the ones I really, really like. The long sleeve joints. Yeah.
Champion edition.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
I think I'm gonna send some of those out too as gifts this year to people. I think that's what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna give my lady. I think I'm gonna grab my lady. Wear leggings, man. I like seeing her in leggings a lot.
Okay.
So man, I might have to grab her some of these leggings, man. And
MSG leggings. All right.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
You got some nice merch.
Yep. So that's what's popping. Let me bring us back on the screen.
Yeah, join the movement. Get you some MSG merch. Send it to somebody or wear it yourself. It's a bold statement. All those statements on those clothes are bold. So hey, if you're bold and you don't mind rocking out like that, please cop some merch.
Indeed.
Won't regret it. All right, man. So this has been a great show, episode number 40, Stu. I appreciate your time, brother. Excellent conversation. A lot to think about. We got to start thinking about what the next episode is, but please reach out if you want to be a guest. And hey, we'll see you all again very soon. Until then, peace.
You already know what it is. I'm gonna take us out with a little Miko, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take us out with a little Miko. Let's bring little Miko back in. Here we go.
On my own, so I hold the chrome. Roam with it is on while I'm known, but anonymous reported from a phone. Subversion agent, rap vagrant. I'm past patient, writings on the wall. For the victim, I feel nothing at all. Instead of making, I'm diligently past Satan. You had your chance last for the taking. Needed points in the paint, but you was pump faking. Last back to the bases, where your soul was the prize for the patriot. With only personalities, mass face. And mass faces put personalities place really in most cases. The gig's up, just give up. Cause you already lost when you couldn't take a stand for standing up. We still with it while losers is just pretending. Wanna be you, but we knew from the beginning. It's for the fans, yeah. Final acknowledgements, past tense or irrelevant talk, no apology. That's my brother. Yeah, that's my brother. That's my brother.
You won't believe all the things I didn't say.